Hi, this is Monica, the Purple Box Organizer. This is video 3 of how to set up chore cards for your home. So if you haven't watched video 1 and 2, I want you to stop this video and go back and watch those, and they'll give you step-by-step instructions of how to get to this video. If you're ready for this one, then here we go. Grab what you've worked on so far, and we're going to take it to the next step. Now, I want you to write out the rest of your chores that you're going to have monthly and so on individual sticky notes. So that is going to take a little bit of time, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. So whatever color sticky notes you have, I didn't come prepared. I want you to grab those, maybe a couple stacks so that you have plenty to work with. Each individual chore is going to go on one sticky note with its frequency. So I'm going to write on here dust ceiling fan in my living room. So I've got living room, dust ceiling fan, monthly. I probably should do this more often, but I don't because I have to get out a ladder. It's super high and it's a pain. So I only do it once a month. So then you put that off to the side. And what I want you to do is make sure you keep each room with all the other chores of that room together. You can just pile them in a pile and we'll work with them after this. So keep going through all of your rooms and all of your chores so that each one has a separate sticky note. And then I want you to spread them all out on an island or a kitchen table, just wherever you can see them and have the most amount of space. Also be sure if you have little hands or curious hands around, even if they're not little, let them know what you're doing and just please don't touch mommy's things or don't touch my things so that I can focus and get through with this and you don't lose anything in the process. You can tell this has happened to me. The idea is to get them as spaced out as possible. So that's what we're going for in the next step. We're going to separate these into weeks 1 through 4 of the month. So each week you have a set number of chores that you're going to do, and they don't all end up on the first week or the last week of the month where you have too many chores or not enough chores. We want to try to space them out. So very sloppily, I put together kind of a little spreadsheet that you're going to do. So you're going to have on this side of your counter space, you're going to have your rooms with each of them, all the sticky notes and their respective chores that need to go. So you've got a pile of those. And then off to the side, you're going to have different columns. So you'll have the frequency there. So I want you to have like a space for monthly cards and ones that you do like every 2 months. I would kind of group those together. Ones that you do every 3 months. Every other month, every 3 and 4 months, every 6 months, and at the bottom, a couple ones that you do once a year. So I can't even tell you an example. I would do once a year, I plan Christmas gifts. So in October, I get out my list and try to make a list of all the gifts that I'd get for neighbors, for coworkers, if you have those, ideas you might have for the kids, for a spouse, loved ones. Anything that you're going to do, that's a great time to do that. In the summer, before summer comes, about May, I have a chore card for myself to make chore cards for the kids. So we kind of reassess what they can do, what they can handle, what we have time for, and a list that I can have them do that will help me. Okay, so after you have decided what chores should be done together and what can be spread out, then we can move on to the next one. So an example of this is I would keep things like dusting the blinds, Windexing the window, and then wiping the windowsill. I always do those on the same day or in the same week because if you're cleaning the window or wiping dust down, it all falls on the windowsill. So in the first week of the month, you wouldn't want to wipe the windowsill, and the next week be cleaning the window and then the blinds and have all that dust fall. So you want to have chores that make sense together. And then for the rest of them, it just kind of is up to you. If you want to just knock out, let's say, all of the extra chores in the dining room, let's just knock all those out on week 1. Or if you want to spread them out a little bit more so you kind of hit a few in each room that makes sense, that's totally up to you. So hopefully that wasn't confusing. Let me know if it was. I can explain it a little bit better. So then you're going to decide what groups of chores that you want for week 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, make sure you've done that. Now, I like to start the month off with a few of mine. It's going to be different in your household, so you have to decide that for yourself. There's some that just seems like the first of the month, I'd love to have this fresh, this clean, and it helps my month go smoother, or it seems like it does. Once you have about 4 even piles, then you can transfer to your index cards, okay? Now you get them about even. I've never come perfect on this. This is actually like the hardest part for me to try to explain to you, to try to get it even, and again, hopefully it makes sense. So when I did these, I chose one color for week 1 and 3, and one color for week 2 and 4. So as you can see here, I chose pink for week 1, and I also have a pile for week 3, and then this one is week 2 and 4. So as an example on here, these are a little bit different than my weekly cards, but you can see I still have the room up there. I have what needs to be done, and then down here it shows the frequency, and then I kind of write out. So that can be even more specific if you want. You can say, I'm going to start this month, and then kind of write out what months you hit it. So when you're filtering through them, you say, oh, it's June, so I'm going to pull out all the ones that say June, if it's like every other month kind of thing. That makes it easier for me. And then up here is, these are week 1 chores, so you write 1. Now, all of these here, anything you write down here, I would suggest you write in pencil. That way when you're going through and you decide, oh, it's come up on wiping the baseboards in this room, and I said that I was going to do this every single month, but it doesn't look that bad. So I'm going to change this down here and try to do it every other month, and then try to lessen my chores. Or you might come up on one, dusting the blinds. You thought, I should only dust the blinds every 6 months in this room. And then by the time you get to it, you might see, oh, I need to do this more often. So I will say that, especially with blinds, if you have like the plastic ones or the faux wood ones, the more often you can dust them and kind of wipe them, the easier it is to do them. You don't have to put as much elbow grease and as much work into them. That's just an example, but it usually is true for a lot of other chores in the house. Again, comment below, ask me questions. I've usually either done it in my house or seen it in a house that I've cleaned of how it could work the best for you. All right, so if you've gotten this far, this is as far as we're going in this video. Again, if you have any questions, please comment below. Give it a thumbs up if this was helpful, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future videos. I will also link below my Instagram that you can follow me every day on my daily stories and other helpful tips and tricks, and my link to my website, so that if you have any questions and you want to contact me directly, you can do that, and contact me for any personal coaching sessions. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.